all for inviting me here to Iowa Valley today. I'm really excited to be sharing my experiences with you guys today. I know today's a really exciting day for you guys. It's your last day before your Thanksgiving break, so I bet you're all pumped up for that. So last summer, during June, I had an awesome opportunity to travel to Haiti through the FFA organization. And I don't have a lot of time, so I'm not going to kind of go into how it started, but I'm going to go more into what I did down there. So basically, when it first started, do you all remember the earthquake back in 2010 that struck Port-au-Prince, and it was a disaster all over national news? That's basically what kind of drove this trip. Right after that earthquake, there were 4 students from the Sioux Central FFA chapter in Iowa who decided that they wanted to help out, and so they sponsored the cost of a suck-up safety home. Many of you guys probably don't know what that is, and I'm going to go into that in a little bit. And they did more than just sponsor a home. They actually raised the money to go down there and build the homes themselves. And when they returned, the FFA involvement for phase 2 began by, and their vision was that FFA members would live out the motto of the National FFA organization by dispersing agricultural knowledge and practices to the underprivileged citizens of Haiti who did not have a secure food source. And so that's basically how this trip started. Now, I learned about this trip when I was on Facebook, and the Iowa FFA Association posted an application and said, hey, this is really interesting, you should come check this out. And so I did, and I made it my mission that I wanted to go down to Haiti and I wanted to help out these people. So after I applied, I soon found out that I was accepted, and then I learned that I would be going down to Haiti in June, and I would be going with 14 other people. So my airplane was going to take off on June 24th. And with the trip comes a lot of preparation coming into a different country, such as Haiti. With the massive political instability, there's little or no infrastructure down there. There's very little government. There's a lot of corruption down in Haiti. And so there's a lot of precautions that you have to take when you go to a country like that. I had to sign a form that said that in the event of a ransom kidnapping, that the Global Compassion Network would not pay for a ransom. And the Global Compassion Network is an Iowa-based nonprofit that chartered my trip. And they're an Iowa-based organization right out of Eagle Grove, Iowa. And so they had some leaders come down with us, and they helped us, and they planned our trip out pretty much. So I get down to Haiti. It takes a day of airplane to get to Haiti, and I took off from Omaha. And right before I got off the airplane at the Haitian airport, my leader, Dennis Anderson, kind of warned me to kind of stay close together, because in a place as dangerous as an airport, there's a lot of people there, and there's a lot of theft, and just kind of a dangerous place to be. And so I remember getting off of the airplane and walking through this long glass hall, and I looked to both sides of the glass hall, and I could see people just watching us as we come in. They kind of reminded me of militia. They have bandanas on. They have AK-47s, and it was really intimidating and threatening, just walking through that hall. And so finally, I get to the end of the hall, and I get out, and that's where it's really crazy. There's a lot of people in the airport. So we quickly get our luggage, and we go out into the airport, or out of the airport. And as soon as I walk outside, I just get hit by this huge crowd of people, because there's beggars and people just standing there waiting for foreign visitors to come, and they're holding out their hands. They hold out items. They're really hoping that I buy something. And it took a lot of effort, but we had to push through this crowd, and finally we got into a gated part where our shuttle was. That's the Sioux Central FFA chapter. And so we get in our shuttle, and right now we're in Port-au-Prince, which is the capital of Haiti. It's got about 7 million people, which is why this earthquake was so destructive. And our location that we're going to is about 4 hours away. And so that ride from the airport to our location was a very unforgettable 4 hours. you basically saw all the sites of Haiti. On each side of the road, it would look like this. There would be literally shacks just on the side of the road. There'd be people just standing there trying to sell stuff outside, just on the side of the road. People would see you and they'd be very kind of concerned, like, oh, what are you doing there? And it just kind of made me feel like a minority being down there. That's kind of how it felt. And it was really kind of a dangerous trip because on Haitian roads, there are no laws. And so there's no lines that show where your vehicle should be. There's no speed limit. There's nothing like that. So on a Haitian road, your horn is your best friend, pretty much. You're sitting there and you're honking at people and you're flying at 70 miles an hour, weaving through traffic. It was very dangerous. I probably almost died just about every 15 minutes, so. But I powered through and we finally got to our hotel. And actually, as we were going through the Capitol, this earthquake hit 3 years ago. But something that struck out to me was that it looked like it hit yesterday. And this is very common. There's very little reconstruction going on. And any construction that you see is stopped because the funding has stopped. And so they can't finish that project. So it'd be very common to see a lot of unfinished projects down there. So we finally get to our hotel. And I'm expecting kind of a refugee camp, living in tents. It was nothing like that. The hotel I went to was owned by what we would call the Department of Agriculture, Prime Minister, and it was very nice. It was very fancy. And this is my hotel that I stayed at. I was met with 8-foot concrete walls with barbed wire on top and a shotgun guard patrolling the area. So it was a very safe place for us. But this is kind of just where my journey begins because for the next 8 days, I'm going to be at 2 different locations. I'm going to be at an orphanage, and I'm also going to be at the Village of Hope. First one I'm going to talk about is the orphanage. The orphanage is home to about 40 Haitian girls. The name of the orphanage is the Constellation Center. And the Constellation Center comes from this Bible verse, Psalm 94. When I said, my foot is slipping, your love, O Lord, supported me. When anxiety was great within me, your consolation brought joy to my soul. And so that's kind of the background from the Constellation Center. And the Constellation Center is a lot more than just an orphanage. The mission of the orphanage is to care for the physical and spiritual needs of kids, teach them a different way of thinking, and integrate them back into their country to better Haiti from within. In addition to the orphanage, there's a school for 300 community kids, an agricultural program, and a medical clinic, all being combined to create something called the Constellation Center.